Okay, today's event is organized and made possible by the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Malaysia and produced by the INSO Arts and Culture Foundation. Thank you so much, the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, for your support. Right. We're gathered here today for the program that has seen 11 speakers so far, and mostly they are from Taiwan. And today we shall have the number 12. Yeah? Our topic today, cultural and creative hubs for creators, which will be explored by our host, Mr. Tay Tat Singh. So a little introduction to Mr. Tay Tat Singh. He is a co-founder of Tetawawi Atelier. It makes me very hard to pronounce it. I believe Atelier is French and Tetawawi is also French? Or just a made-up word? Made-up Malaysian word. It is a young and dynamic design firm specialized in creating design and space via narratives approach. Yeah? And maybe you would like to talk about that also in relation to our context today. Their work speaks of the essence of people-oriented design and coexistence with nature. This essence is extended through project collaborations such as the Buku Library, spelled B-O-O-K-U, the Library for Social Democracy, and Kongsi KL, that's the most current one, I believe, and many, many, many more, right? Mr. Tay will introduce our special guest, our special speaker, the number 12 in TPLO programming, Ms. Jasmine Chow today. Ms. Jasmine. So please give a big warm welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to just read from right up here. Welcome to the TPLO sharing session, number 12. So many of us must be attracted by this subject matter this evening. Songshan, located at Taipei City. And in fact, some of us may have already visited the place and joined the program there, including myself. So, a project that combines art space and architectural retrofit, such as Songshan, has always had this extra charm to lure people comparing to contemporary art space. In fact, such facilities is playing an important role in bridging art and culture to the greater public nowadays. So together with us this evening, we have Jasmine Chow, Executive Director of Chou-Cultural Creative Hub. Jasmine has been involved in the formation of this art space, and she received multi-awards because of her works at Songshan, which has gained international recognition. This evening, Jasmine is going to share with us the insight of how Songshan managed to turn itself from a vast tobacco factory to a complete cultural and creative arts in the region. So without wasting much time, a round of applause for Jasmine.
Thank you for staying with me on such a wonderful Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to have this opportunity to give you a brief introduction of our findings in pictures of Taiwan's creative map. And today, I'm going to look at not only the creative hub itself and how the hubs express their value to interact with the communities around it. And I will also give you some example to look at how these cultural organization actually works. Before I start, I'd like to introduce myself. I come from an entertainment industry where I worked in MTV music channel for over 7 years. And I'm responsible for the marketing and organize concert. Yeah, the kind of concert, for the big pop stars like J.Joe, Mayday, Ame, etc. I remember my first concert, overseas concert. Can I say? Okay. I remember my first overseas concert was in Malaysia. I joined the MTV Asia Award in Genting Hai, yes. And at that time, the biggest star is from Korean. They called Super Junior. I guess most of you know them. And so the pop stars concert always attract a huge amount of audience or fans to join their concert. So I often ask myself, can art or performing art work in the same way? So when I left MTV, I joined the Taipei Cultural Foundation, and I'm responsible for integrated marketing for Taipei Art Festival and the Taipei Films Festival. So at that time, the Chou-Cultural Creative Park is organized a new team. They are preparing to open. So I joined the park. And after 7 years, the Chou-Cultural Creative Park has become one of the most favorite travel destinations in Taipei and the incubation center. So hosting the World Design Capital 2016, Taipei City raised 3 key elements. It's called, one is culture, design, and innovations. So by reconsidering the meaning of culture and design and the implement of cultural design as policies for the city, so we call us is adaptive city design in motion. So with this kind of thinking, the cities receive a continuing innovations. So, if you know the history of Taiwan, you will know that Taiwan is a home to a comprehensive industrial supply chain that include the traditional manufacturing and the high-tech R&D technology. And this extensive manufacturing and high-tech background, and we have the rich in cultural history, has really built up a solid foundation for our Taipei's creative talents. So let's look at some numbers. So when we hosting the design capitals, we're trying to analyze this element. There you can see we have 13 cultural districts, and we have 190 music. This is only within the Taipei city. And also we have 27 cultural and creative center parks, and so many galleries, etc., and so many graduated students from the design departments. And we even have the 5,000 public artwork around the city. So this really gives us atmospheres of the culture around us. So when you're visiting Taipei, Taipei is actually promoting the cultural and creative and cultural industry for more than a decade. So when you're traveling to Taipei, your friends will not introduce you to a big department store or shopping malls. They will bring you to a historical district or independent bookshops, or invite you to go to a creative park. So these creators, the talented creators, they gather automatically here in those creative hubs. And socially they interact with the local communities. So it brings the transformations, not on thought and efforts, on the creator itself and also on the communities. So the young people, they move into the useless place, like the useless heritage or abandoned house. So they trying to make improvement on these buildings, and they organize the live performances, and they generate the traffic. They raise a lot of events there and attract the audience. And this turning this underused direction space into a cultural district is really a good urban renewal policy in Taipei. And it is not only happening in Taipei, it's happening all around the world. So we try to analyze the creative hubs in Taipei. So whether all these creative parks is government initiated, or a grassroots, or a combination of two. The creative hubs is actually blooming everywhere in Taiwan. So we try to give some analysis. We try to give separate it. So we raised through 5 types of creative hub that represents the Taiwan's cultural and creative view. So we can see we have the imaginative power, where you can see in our creative park. They're trying to give some information and resources for these creators to support them to become creative and innovation. And second, we have the art-based. Art-based means the artist village. That artist village that helps the creator. They push the artists to create and engage. And also we have the Brain for Wanted. It's kind of a brand incubation center that helps our creators to embrace their ability. And also we have the knowledge-based creative hub. This is much more related to the makerspace. And the last, we have the lifestyle-oriented creative space. And this is born naturally in our street, in our alley, in our district code. So we try to do a research, and also we take short films about picturing the Taiwan's creative map. We've co-worked by the British Council in 2016, and we take short films. So I'm going to present you these short films about the Taiwan's creative hub. But in these films, we did to try to research and interview all of these creative hubs. Today I will select some of them because the film is take about 20 minutes. So I only pick up some points. And one of that organization we're going to interview is the Cloudgate Theatre. I remember that the Cloudgate dance group have already performed in Malaysia as well. The Cloudgate dance group used to be a dance group only, but in 2015 they operate the Cloudgate Theatre in Danshui. So the Cloudgate become a creative hub, not only a dance group, but also a creative hub. So they trying to start to help these artists, not only the Cloudgates, but also the artists and the creators all around Taiwan. They give them support, they give them rehearsal rooms, and they give them a lot of finance support. So, thank you. I only show a little bit about this film, so you can see all of these creative hubs are so different. Not all of them are supported from government. Some of them are grassroots, or some of them even founded by a commercial company. But we really find out a way trying to express the value and then trying to interact with the community surround us. And then it becomes a renewal policy for the urban city. So what are all this support for? So what kind of government organization can actually help? So then following up, I'm going to introduce some of these organizations. It's funded by government. And Taipei Cultural Foundation, yeah, actually it's my company. This foundation is co-financed financed by Taipei City government. So we are actually under the Taipei City Cultural Affairs. But actually we are still a non-profit organization. So what we are doing is trying to devote ourselves to improve the art and the cultural development in Taipei City. So we have a lot of missions need to do, so we're trying to separate it into 4 parts. There you can see the first one is we need to accelerate and enhance the knowledge of art appreciations of the public. So we raise 3 different kinds of art festivals. And then we need to support and finance this cultural and artist institution. So we have to look at the visual art and the performing art. And then we need to encourage and cultivate the energy of creativity and innovation. So we have the creative development departments. And also the last one, we have to preserve and operate these old historical heritage. So Sounion Cultural Creative Park here, and then we also have two different cultural heritage. So all of these art institutions is all around Taipei City. So far we have 12 sections about this. So if you have time visit Taipei, please you can follow these inscriptions to visit all of our art institutions. And the first I'm going to introduce about the 3 important art festivals is what we're trying to doing is trying to help the art appreciation of the public. So these 3 art festivals is separated in every year. So in July we have the Taipei Children Art Festival, and in August the Taipei Fringe Festival, and in September the Taipei Art Festival. And all of these 3 festivals, we are encouraged the international coverage. So we invite a lot of international artists and performance groups to join our programs. So for Taipei Children's Art Festival, actually it's really a hot sale festival. Every time when it's open, the sales the tickets, but just within 1 day, all of this program will sold out. So it's really popular. So you can see the purpose is trying to help encourage the parents and children. They have all of these free events during the summer vacation. So the parents can bring their child and children to participate in this festival, and it will encourage all these students or children to improve their art appreciations. And then the Taipei Art Festival is really a professional and important art festival internationally. So every year we try to become a hub, and we encourage a lot of the international cooperations. So many our international artists will come to Taipei to work closely with our artists and produce this art festival. The next one is the most interesting one, is the Taipei Fringe Festival. As you know, the spirit of Fringe is no limitation. So this kind of performance is out of the theaters, it's on street, in cafes, everywhere. It can happen everywhere, if you can imagine. So every year we have more than about 300 groups of performers will come. Sometimes it's hard to say they are performers. Sometimes they are not the professional performers. Some of them is from one companies or a group of people. If 3 of you are interested in perform, then we can try to apply. So it's just a kind of free administrations for every people if you are interested in to perform on stage. So the Fringe Art Festival is new and talented and young, and is so vivid and popular. So the second, we're trying to support and finance the cultural and arts institution. So we're going to look at the performing art and the visual art. So here you can also see we provide a lot of international cooperations. Like the Taipei Performing Arts Center, they have a program called Adam's Project. And it's trying to build up international connection to inspiring the Taiwanese artists and the young artists internationally. So the Taipei Performing Arts Center, which is not complete yet, is still under construction. We are looking forward to complete in 2018. We hope so. So this is located in the Taipei's Shilin Night Market. So if you visit Taipei, I think most of friends will recommend you to visit the night market. The food and snack is very tasty there. So this art center is just close to the night market, and it was designed by a very famous architect called Rancohus. And so we are really looking forward to see when it's completed, and it's already won a lot of international awards. So by using this art center, I think the Taipei will become a place to support the big productions internationally in the future. And here we like to introduce the MoCA Taipei is for the contemporary art. I think MoCA Taipei is one of the most popular contemporary art museums for the young people, especially for young people. Because of the MoCA Museum, actually it comes from a very old building. It's an old heritage, but it transforms to become young and talented. The artists, they trying to express their opinions there. So it's really popular for people. They run a lot of art educational programs and events, and it's trying to help you to easy access the art. The people will think the art will be too difficult to approach, but here in the MoCA Taipei, you will feel the art is easy to get in. And then we have the Taipei Artist Village. The Taipei Artist Village, we have two artist villages. The Taipei Artist Village, actually, we call this Treasure Hills. Treasure Hills. It's also a very special building. Here is an international artist village. So they run a lot of international artist exchange program. So they provide rooms or exhibition halls for all of the young artists. And it's quite famous internationally. And then I'm going to introduce encourage and cultivate the energy of design. So I'm going to talk about the cultural creative development department, so difficult to pronounce, which is my department. And in this department, what we are doing is trying to promote the creative thinking. We're trying to help everyone to think creatively. We introduce the design thinking in our process, not only in our process, but in our daily life. So we're targeting for everyone. Everyone can come to join us to learn about the creative thinking. And also we do the industrial support. All of these industrial support is especially for the creative industry. So we have this brand manager, we have these products to help them to support them to get the marketing sense, or we help them for sales. So this is the process. So by organizing a group of Taiwan's designers, we're trying to introduce the Taiwan's cultural and creative industry expanded to the international market. So you can see we using the brand called Taipei Corners, and we join a lot of exhibitions or fair or shows internationally. So this is a list of these shows we have been joined, like we visit the Hong Kong P&Q Creative Pop-Up, and we also join the Beijing's International Cultural Creative Industry Expo, or the Tokyo Design Fairs. So during these design fairs, we are not only trying to introduce our Taiwan's designers' product, we also bring out a lot of projects to work closely with the designer internationally. So you can see from 2001-5, we start to work with Japan's designers, not only in Design Tokyo's fair, but we also get into their department store, like the Mitsukoshi or the Paluco or Atelier or Sogo department store. And we're trying to bring our designers and products to the front line, to sell to the client directly, trying to get their local test. And in 2016, we start to work with Thailand. So we joined the Chiang Mai Design Week, and in 2018, we joined the Bangkok Style Fair. So this is in April this year. We joined one of the biggest gift shows in Thailand, which is called Style Fair. But we are not only bring our products there. We also work with the Thailand's designers, and then we have a theme part called the Attitude Inspired by Nature. And under this theme topic, we have a small curations. And these curations, we invite not only our Taiwan's designer, but also the Thailand's designer. And under the name of Attitudes, the attitudes means we look at these designers to see how they look at the natural materials. They use the material trying to record the ecosystem and trying to tell the story about their products. So here we introduce these two designers. One is from Taiwan, one is from Thailand. So they group together to perform and to conduct a new products. So here is the new products we display on the show. So you can see all of them is about the natural materials, the natural designs. So this gives us small steps. But this kind of cooperation program keep continually. So we are not only stop there. So far, these two group of designers still work closely together. So the fourth part is the Taipei Cultural Foundations also look at the preserved and operate the historical heritage and transform into a creative hub. So I'm going to look at the Taipei's Red House. The Red House, if you have been to Taipei's Ximending, the Red House is located in Ximending as one of the most popular places in Taipei. There are a lot of tourists who will visit the place. So the Red House is really located in the major direction. What we are trying to do is transform an old historical building and into a new style of a place to display the young designers' products. So here is the Red House Creative Market outside the Red House, and it becomes a gathering spot, a choice for young people. So many young people come here to find out these new product, new designs, and new ideas. And then I'm going to start to talk about the Cultural and Creative Park. We have already seen a little bit in the films about Sounion Creative Park, and the other one is the Bo-Er. Bo-Er Park is located in Kaohsiung. So Sounion is in Taipei, in the north of Taiwan, and the Bo-Er is in the south of Taiwan, in Kaohsiung. So I give these two examples. It's trying to bring out this idea. So most of the Cultural Creative Park in Taiwan has a specific policy objectives. So for these urban planning and policymakers, sometimes this creative park is used as a creative landmark and also an industrial base. But for the creators, it's really a place for them to express their imaginations. So Sounion Cultural, the Sounion Tobacco Factory. It used to be a tobacco factory. The scale and is the biggest in scale and capacity of the tobacco factories. But before 2011, this place was lost in memories. And passing into the history, the factory was fell into disuse and left nothing at all. But before that, the tobacco factories is used for industrialized productions of the cigarette. But it left nothing and fell into disuse. So, but nowadays a chic factory is awakened and regenerated into a venue of showcasing design, art, lifestyle, and the pop music. This is the music video shooting in our multifunction hall. Can anyone tell which is the music video? Whoa! Wow! Excellent. Yes, this is a Mayday shooting the music video in our multifunction hall. Yeah, this song is called 伤心的人别听慢歌. Please go back to watch this music video. The whole music video is produced in our park. And also, one of the songs is from Jolene. Jolene's song is also shooting the music video in our park. So now it become a shining star, and we have lots of films and the music videos and shows taking in our park. So we identify ourselves to become as a creative hub of Taipei. So it soon become the most popular place in Taiwan, and we are very happy to announce that we just reached the 30 million visitors. And in average, we have 350,000 participants visiting our park every month. So we also won a lot of awards. This is the most favorite travel destination in Taipei and voted by one of the large travel websites. And also the good service culture one of the most famous Chinese magazine called Commonwealth. And it's also the favorite place for artists outside the gallery. So this is a very talented young dance group called Shui here. Sui is a dancer. They use our Baroque garden as their final destinations in their dance project. So from an abandoned heritage to now they become a creative hub. This is a process for the brand building. So what is our definitions and what is our strategy? So here I'd like to introduce so how can we find our definitions? So here we have a very important thing in the creative thinking is that in the center of a creative economies, the creativity is the most important thing. So we're trying to promote the creative lab with incubations and resources. And then we're trying to help these creators to explain their business model of a creative economy instead of profit making. But also we provide them the business application, which help, we give a space, we give a gallery for them to try to test in their business model. So here's our positioning is that we identify ourselves as a creative heart, and this creative heart is trying to develop the creative economy in Taiwan, and then also this is a platform providing these creators not only from innovation, but from innovation experiment, brainstorming, modeling, rehearsing, performance, and sales. So everything about the creators you can find in our creative hub. So we think that Taipei is really need to establish a place, a platform. This is a public platform for supporting and encouraging art and creativity. So you can see this is the map of the Sounion Creative Hub. Oh, I forgot to ask, have anyone have visited Sounion Creative Park? Please raise your hand. Oh, thank you. It's quite a lot, thank you. So here you can see, this is the map of our park. So it's really a big place. We are about 66,000 square meters. So it's about 6 football stadium size. And here you can see we still have a place called Taipei Dome. If you visit recently, you will see there is a big stadium still under construction. So this is a place for the Taipei Dome. And also in our park, we have a place like the athlete bookshops here. So Taipei needs a place to encourage and support the cultural and creativity. So that's our definition, that's our mission, and that's our policies. So let's look back into the history. The Sounion Creative Park, it used to be the Tobacco Planters and built in 1937, and it's the first modern tobacco factory in Taiwan. And at that time, we have more than 2,000 employees in the park. No, that's a park, that's a tobacco factory, in the factory. But in 2001, this park was decided as a 99th district historical site by the Taipei city government. And then we opened to the public in 2011 because of the Taipei World Design Expo. And now it's under the management of Taipei Cultural Foundation. So here is the buildings of our office building. So this is the picture taken in 1960, and this is the pictures taken in 2014. So you can see the building is like exactly the same as usual. So the office building is used for receptions and the office for the executive team. So at that time, the lower workers or lower rank are not allowed to get into these buildings. So the tobacco factories is actually witnessed the rise and fall of Taiwan's tobacco industry. So this is a photo in our tobacco, the name is the tobacco factory inside. So we have a lot of machines. You can see a lot of female workers sit here and rolling the tobacco leaves every day. So this is Miss Lin, and she called Lin Aijiao. She went into the tobacco factory in her beautiful age, 16, and over 60 years, she spent her entire life in this tobacco factory. She got married with her husband, and also the colleagues in tobacco factory, and she gave birth and then retired. So we invite her to come back to our factory, and she just remembered everything, and the place is look exactly the same as it used to be. And she took the photo at the same place. Yeah, she's still so beautiful. So, and this year, we did a special event. We invite about 35 of the old employees working in this factory. And we invite them back to our creative park. And we take the photos of them. We did a oral history record from them. And everything we prepare is for the next year. Next year will be the 80 years of Sounion Tobacco Factory. And we're trying to celebrate the 18 years. And also we're trying to record everything from there. So we even trying to use a new design to record everything. So this is a very cute pet. Here describes a story about a female worker's daily life. So she took the bus to go to work and rolled the tobacco leaves in the factory, and then she will take a walk in our Baroque garden, and there we have a beautiful fountain, and then take a bath before she off work, and then go back. So this presents their daily life, but it also becomes our hot sale products nowadays. So what's exactly the characteristic of our park? We did a lot of research before that. So the first one is we have a very unique cultural atmosphere. The Sounion Cultural Creative Park is located in the center of Taipei. You can hardly imagine that in the city, in such a busy centers of the Taipei city, we can enjoy such a beautiful place with lots of greens trees inside. So the eastern of Taipei is actually sometimes we will call it the uptown lifestyle. So this kind of urban cultural or designs and atmospheres actually give a lot of influence to our park. And then our park is not the typical exhibition space. All of this warehouse is used for the tobacco's production. It's not no ordinary or normal exhibition center. So, but this kind of untypical exhibition areas gives our artists and the creators more talented ideas. So they inspired by the space. So they feel like get more energy inside of this kind of untypical exhibition space. And also, in our park, we have the energy of design. The park is first opened to the public in 2011 because of the Taipei World Design Expo. So after that, we have a lot of design events coming in. So you can see we have the IF designs in our park, and we have the Taipei Design and City Exhibition happening every year. And more than that, we have a Taipei Design Museums here. The Taiwan Design Museum is operated by Taiwan Design Center, and this is the first design museums use the theme as design. So in this design museum, have 7 sections, and within these 7 sections, we introduce the history about design. Not only in Taiwan, but also globally, how the design process and what's the concept of design. And also have a place for innovation to introduce the upcoming idea or technology of design. So a lot of students from the design department, they must come to this museum. And also we have a radar design area. The Red Dot has 3 design areas outside of Germany. So one is in Germany, another in Singapore, and the Taiwan is the 3rd Red Dot design area. So it introduces Red Dot Award every year here in Sounion Cultural Creative Park. So we think ourselves is not only a place for rental. So we want us to become a creative hub of innovation. So we actually bring out 5 strategies trying to lead to innovations. So we identify ourselves as Taipei's Creative Lab, Taipei's Creative School, Taipei's Creative Union, and Taipei's Creative Showcase, and the Creative Factory of Taipei. So what's the Creative Showcase? We have a lot of space. We have a huge warehouse. So we're trying to invite these, work closely with these international partners, trying to draw in these well-known and influence exhibitions here. So every year we have more than 300 events a year. So it means we have an event every day. So in last year, we have some very important exhibition here, including the architectures, is very important architecture exhibitions come from the Zaha Hadid's firms. And this is it's really a remarkable one because before Lady Zaha Hadid passed away, she had already to choose Chou-Cultural Creative Park as the place for her exhibition. But unfortunately, she passed away suddenly. But we are very happy that we still have these exhibitions last year in our park. And we have Hermes, we have the Taiwan Design and Exhibition 2016. So this is just some pictures to show you that how these kind of design exhibitions work in our warehouse. So this is our warehouse inside, beautiful and large space. And this is the Hermes have their exhibition in our park. It's called the Hermes Wonderland exhibition. And we know Hermes very expensive. Yeah, but in this exhibition, it's very, very special because they don't want to tell everyone they are an expensive brand. So they're trying to promote their technique, the technique from the very professional workers. So this exhibition is free administration. So it's free for everyone. So it's attract a lot of people to come to visit this exhibition. And this is the Zaha Hadid architecture form present the global design laboratory. And in this exhibition, they displayed some of the architecture model. Is the first time to show up. For example, like this one. This is the Air Force models of Beijing. So it is going to complete soon. So this is the first time they display this model here. And also the Zaha Hadid have one architecture items in Taiwan. It's called Danjiang Bridge, which is still not complete yet. But they display this model and using the VRs, trying to help us to look at when this bridge is complete, what it will be like. And also, some around the country like Hong Kong, they have the Hong Kong Week here in Taipei and tracking the Hong Kong's architecture exhibitions. And also we have the exhibition from Japan's the 2020 design. I think most of them have known this in this design museum. It's very famous ones. They bring in their important exhibitions called the Imagining exhibitions. It's very, very interesting. So the creative showcase is not only for the big shows. We also look at the small curation. So here, every year, we try to bring out the topic of the curation. Like last year, we tried to introduce the small young artists. So we invite them to talk about the image, how to interact with light and the material, how to interact with the space, and also the issue, trying to interact with people. So we bring out the idea called the dialogue between us and between the artist and designer. And also we did an open call to everyone. If you are interested to display your artwork or your design, so you can apply us. Just submit your artwork, and then we will have a commit, and then you can just have this space to display for free. So this is a free open call to everyone. So you can see this is one of our artwork. It's very, very special. It's called Flowers Meet Literatures. So every kind of topic can display in our park. And we are not only look at the professional designer or artist, but we are taking good care about the students. Yeah, we think the students are the future's artists. They are future's talent. So every year we will bring out this very important activity for us. It's called the Grand Expo in Songshan. And every year we will have, this is a graduation expo for the graduate students. So we just collect them and organize them. So every year we'll have more than 70 colleges will display their graduations artwork exhibitions here. And it's attract so many people to participate in this show. So normally these graduate expos displayed in their school. But here in Sounion Cultural Creative Park, we have so many professional talents to come to visit. So the student can have more opportunity to meet their future clients or future boss. So this will really give them a platform to access to different levels. So this is some pictures. And also we have our own curations. This is called Taipei Original Festivals. We use the same exhibitions in line up with the trend. So we combine with the visual art or performing art and the creative market, and also we have a music performance. This is not only exhibition, but also a festival we hold every year in Sounion Cultural Creative Park. Okay. So, yeah, we are a showcase, and we also think that we can perform as a creative school. So what is the creative school? It's really a green school for everyone. So we bring out some idea, like we have the Idea Taipei workshops. The Idea Taipei workshop is very special because we encourage creative thinking. We trying to bring in a professional of the process of social design. So we trying to give our citizens have the chance, a possibility to participate in the policy making of the city government. And then we also have an incubation program to support this brand and creative industry. Also, we have the Sounion Talk. It's kind of forums like this, and we have every month. So here you can see this Idea Taipei workshops. We're trying to change our city for a better life. So every year we will bring out 3 different topics from the Taipei city government. And then we encourage all the peoples to participate in these workshops. So in these workshops, we will have the professionals, teachers will guide you to come out to have any solutions. And all of these solutions we will write down as a proposal. And this proposal we hand it to the Taipei city government. And the Taipei city government will follow the steps to doing things. So it's really a really good process for the citizen to participate in the government's decision making. And we did a lot of work here, including the public buildings, the traditional market, the traffic systems, and also the some social issues. So it's not only focused on cultural and creative, but also about the social design. So the Idea Taipei actually gives a lot of suggestions for Taipei city government. So I think it's really a good process for the citizens. They can actually bring out their ideas, bring out the suggestion to the government. And for the industrial support, we give a lot of lessons and class for these brands and entrepreneurs. So we have some kind of speech to help them to enhance their brand abilities. And we have the consultants, the one-on-one consultant. It all depends on what's your topic and what's your difficulties. So the third one is we look at the type, we want to identify ourselves as the Creative Lab of Taipei. So we actually built up a theater. It's a small theater, it's a black box in our park, in such an old heritage. So this place is a space for inventors. They're doing the creative thinking. They are doing their rehearsal, experiment, and the performance all in this space. So this is an empty space, and we use it as a multi-usage, and we try to encourage the artists to move in and to do their experiments. So they can try to testing everything they want to try. So we bring out a lot of supporting programs, like we cooperate with the Cultural Art Foundations, and this program is called Young Artists, Young Star, New Vision. And also we have produce our own programs. This is called New Points on Stage. And every year, the New Points on Stage is getting more important now. So we even been nominated by the Taixing Award. This is one of the most famous artist award. And also we become a platform to connecting these artists and trying to bring out this artist experiment to the audience. So we're trying to look at the importance of experiment in the art performances. So every year we bring out these 3 important projects. One is called Let's Try Out, the first one, called Try Out, Let's Try Out. We cooperate with the guest curators to create a special project to combine the performance art and exhibitions and visual art or the new medias. And then we have our own show called The New Points on Stage. We produce 3 shows, and this is an open call to everyone, to the young talent artists, but it must be the performing art. And the third one is the program collaboration to encourage the proposal all around in Taiwan. Then we will provide free spaces for them. Yeah, that dog is a performer. So the show we're doing in the lab is actually very important now, and we are very happy to announce that we are invited by the Georgetown Festival in August. So we will bring one of the show. It's just you saw it in the films from the New Points on Stage to participate in the Georgetown Festival, and we will also invite these market 3 of our 5 to 10 our market owner to join this special event. So we also become a creative unions here in our park, and we trying to invite this non-profit organization. So the important thing is not only the ordinary people to come into our park, we must invite more professional people to participate in our event. So all of these foundations and non-profit organizations are very important association in Taiwan. So they have their office here. So they give platforms for cultural association to meet up and collaborations here. And just in 2016, we have another new project called the Sounion Creative Hub. This is also called the Sounion Creative Factories. This factory is actually a co-working space and combined with a maker space. So we opened in December 2016, and we have 18 group of creators now staying in our creative factories. And we offer them a workplace, an office, a studio, and we offer them the consulting services. And we're also providing the machine and tools for craft making. So this is the pictures of our co-working space. It's a beautiful long place in our factories. So the space is including the creative studio. So 18 group of people, they were staying here. We have separate their small rooms, but without the wall to separate them. And then we have give them the meeting rooms and lounge areas, and also the place for international creators. And the most important things, we have a maker space. In this maker space, we provide a lot of tools, including the 3D printing machines, CNC laser cutting machines, tools, cuttings, etc. We're looking at this tool can help our creators and designers to use these machines to produce their prototypes. So here we also raise a lot of international designers exchange programs here. Especially we look at the international designer to come here to interact with our local designers. So they will come out a new idea, even a new products, or even a new exhibitions here. So you can see this is one of the designer come from Japan's makerspace, and they work with our local designer, and they come out with new products. Now still sell in our Sounion galleries. So the process is that we try to help our creators, not only from their start-up. So we providing a place for brainstorming. And we also provide tools for them to produce their prototypes, to experiment and produce, and then we help them to do the market test. So we have a place downstairs in our cultural creative park. We have a gallery. They can sell their products there. So also we give them some matchmakers, and we introduce some of the channels for them. Like this is one of our designers called Antidote Studio, and we help them to work with home hotel, and we introduce them to have exhibitions in their space. And also we provide a lot of consulting services to help these creators to finding their finance support. And finally, downstairs, the Chou-Cultural Creative Hub, we launched a new space called the Sounion Style Galleries in 2017. And this is really a new type of a creative settlement, cultural and innovations, economic models. So what's the models? I can give you more details. In this Sounion Gallery, we have a place called Sounion Made. So our designer, they produce their product in the second floor in our factory. And then downstairs, we have the self-operated space for them to sell their products. So all of these designers can come going down to the Sounion Made studio, trying to explain their idea and their story to this audience or to these consumers. So this gives them a very good opportunity to learn the feedbacks from these consumers. And then the Sounion Style Gallery is a front shop back factory. So for these brands, for these medium-sized or mature creative brands, they can try to offer craft workshops here and trying to let the consumers to be able to participate in their process. And then we have mini creative markets every day in this gallery. So the Sounion Made is really a showcase for the designer of our Sounion creative factories and the international designers exchange programs here. So every 3 months we will have a same topic happening here, trying to display the new trend of the craft makers. Okay, finally I'm going to introduce one of the most interesting place is the Sounion Gallery. This gallery is a place for historical exhibitions, because we're trying to give more information connected to the history, to look at the tobacco factory's history. So here we display a lot of old things, old stuff, and furniture here, and also is a platform for the creative products. So this place displays the finest Taiwan's designers' craft products here, and also is a cafeteria for people if you get in, and you can take a rest here. So at last, I would like to go back to the first, when I talk about the creative hub, the importance of the creative hub and the cultural creative hub, is that how we trying to help these creators. So here's some important things that a creative hub must empower the creator. We must provide help for this creator to help them to find resources, find an opportunity. And second, the creative hub needs to find out with appropriate goal. You don't need to set up a high goal that you cannot reach. Try to reach an appropriate goal. And then you should need to have a spontaneous mobilization. So you should have a self-sufficient, self-finance support. And then become flexibility, trying to get more flexible to try to everything possible. And then you need to power of the community in civil society. We need to interact with the community surrounded. I think that's the most important things and the most meaningful for the creative hubs. Yep, that's my talk today. Thank you for listening.
Very well presented material, thank you. And from here we can actually see how well connected the top-bottom effort versus the bottom-up effort in Taiwan. And also thank you for showing us the kind of art and cultural scene in depth, which carry from the creation to branding and marketing in a very fluent manner. So, which leave me wonder that we are just a country having a government of no less than 2 weeks. And with our Ministry of Art and Culture will be announced, but we still need to keep on with such thing. And we will have a 10 minutes of Q&A session.
How much fund do you receive from Taipei City Government to fund all these activities and creativity activities?
Yeah, I know you would ask about this. Okay, the Taipei Cultural Foundation is co-financed by Taipei City Government, which means that the Taipei City Government will allocate their budget to Taipei Cultural Foundation every year, but it will depend on different organization or different departments. Some of the departments, they will need more fundings from the city government because they don't have a more opportunity to receive the budget outside, or they don't have the ability to make money by themselves. So like Sounion Creative Park, yeah, we take more responsibility. So our main topic is trying to lower down the budget from government every year gradually. So far, we were about 30% funding from the Taipei City government, but about another 70% we need to find out by ourselves. So every year, we are gradually to lower down the city government's budget. So in the end, we hope we can self-sufficient in the future.
So how much? The 30%, how much it is?
Yeah, I cannot tell you what numbers, but it's 30%. But you can try to imagine that such a big space, the management budget for such a space is quite a lot.
What is your initial startup fund?
Okay. Is 70%, you mean about the 70%?
Initial donation, the first funding that you received.
The first funding? The first funding, yeah, most of them is from the Taipei government.
How much?
I cannot tell you the exact numbers. So, yeah.
No transfer.
The 70% we're separated into 7 parts. The most matches monies come from the space rental fee. Yeah, I think we have owned such a huge space, so the rental fee will be the most important. And then you can see we're trying to have our own galleries. And all these galleries, we introduce Taiwan's the Taiwan's brand here. So the gallery also make money for us. So, but it's also opened by ourselves. And then we're trying to find some new opportunity and the new business models according from the contents we produce. Like we trying to produce the performance art shows, and then maybe we can try to export this show to other countries in the future, and then it will become another ways of business models that we are running.
Hello, I'd like to ask this question from a position as a critical practitioner and also an evaluator. I find your presentation is a kind of overload with information. An academic presentation is only 45 minutes. Yours is very long and actually a lot of space, there are a lot of repetition. But what I find that is very top down, and in no way did your presentation say, how do we learn from the mistakes? Because you have a long-term engagement with the people and community. How do we share ownership? So a lot of these are a lot of sound bites. For example, your last slide saying you have to engage with the community, the perspective as the point. But how do you engage? Do you engage like a teacher to them? Or do you engage them as an equal footing? Or you try to engage them to motivate that they take over the responsibility of the community and the social development of the society? So these are missing. Will you like to elaborate on that?
Because we only have 2 hours, I think it's still too short for me to trying to bring out what we are doing in so many years, I think. But I'm just trying to pick up some key points that when we give a big overview, when we look at what is the creative hub around Taipei, around the Taiwan, the creative hub have a many different kind of creative hubs. Yes, we have the government-initiated ones, what we are facing the different topic, and the government-initiated one, we need to look at the different communities around it. But for the small ones, small clusters, small creative hub, they also have the different meaning need to look at. So the community surrounded will be different from that. So I think I give a big pictures about generally the creative hub in Taipei, in Taiwan. Maybe I can introduce you about the findings in our research in 2016. We did very detailed research to pictures Taiwan's creative landscape. Then I think the Sounion Creative Park is the main ideas. I'm going to give you an example like this. The communities, including many part of that, the community, like inside our creators, the artist group, the designers group, and even we said about the community, the residents around us. Yes, this is all the community that we are going to look at. So, Sounion Creative Parks is trying to bring out some idea that the importance of the creative heart to influence the society around it. And it provides a platform. So this kind of platform is especially for the talents and the designer. They can access their platform, trying to find the support inside and trying to the support to help them to embrace their ability and trying to help them to solve the problem. So sometimes this micro industry of these young designers, they are very difficult to find support in such a society. So we're trying to systematically arrange these informations. If you come to us, then we can try to help you to find out any kind of support you needed. So it's really one-on-one communications from us to the designer and to the artist, everyone. So yeah, maybe still a lot of things need to do. Still have a lot of information that need to share. But yeah, this is a big part. We need to look at many aspects of that. And if you are interested in more about what we are doing, yeah, of course, I would like to share more about this.
What's the most challenging part that you need to maintain this park?
Well, challenge comes from everywhere. That such a big space, when you open the door to everyone, and so many visitors comes, and we need to basically provide a very beautiful and clean space. I think this is also very difficult. So everything about management this park is difficult. But the most challenging things to us is that Sounion Creative Park now, we still have a very big construction work still going on. That's a Taipei Dome. So before Taipei Dome is completed, I think we are still under a different situation. Because so far we are not facing the Zhongxiaodong Loop. We are inside the Zhongxiaodong Loop. We don't have our main entries so far. So we are really looking forward that when the Taipei Dome completed, and then we will have our main entry. And then I think the park will get into a different situation at that time. So far, I think we are still preparing ourselves to waiting for when everything is completed in the future.
I would like to ask, if let's say an artist is going to cooperate with with your creative arm, so what is the profit sharing? And also in the future, right, the IP will belong to the creator or belong to both of you?
Yes, most of the creative part, they only provide the services or provide the information or provide a space for these creators or for these brands to open their shops. But here, we did something more, that we try to create our own content. But this content is actually not our content. This is the contents of these creators or these designers. So, like the artist content, these programs, yes, the license is still under the design, these artists. But what we are doing is that we try to have a different percentage profit sharing from them. Let me give you some example. Like we have 18 group of creative designers settled in our creative factories now. So if they produce a new product, and this product is supported by us, because we will give them some production fees to invent new products. So if this product is supported by us, then we will have the right to doing the profit sharing. So we will negotiation about this, like about 14 or 16% profit sharing. Or if we help them to find new cases, like some of the big companies, they want to find the designers, then we will introduce them to, like we say, it's kind of matchmaking. And then we will also have the chance to take the profit sharing from them. Although this is not happened yet, so far we only do the products profit sharing. So that means they sell the products and we will have the profit sharing from them. But the licensing is still under the designer. thank you, Jasmine, for sharing such a. I look at it and I listen for 2 hours. It's like wow, it's such a big blueprint, for the creative industry, in your opinion, this is like kind of business model for the creative industry. Let's say bring the whole business model into my country, Malaysia, let's say in a small town. Do you think it's workable? Of course, it's workable. The creative economies happen to every place globally. So in every country, we're trying to develop our own creative economy. So for the Creative Hub, it's only one way. Yeah, but I think it's a great way for the young creators or young people to start from here. So maybe not a whole print, but for some part of that, like I introduced in the films, that like some street blog, what we start from that. We start only from a small shop, start only from the young people. They move into an old area, historical area, and then try to make improvement of that building. And then they create a lot of events. They introduce their new designs in that building. And then it starts to attract generation. And then he starts to cooperate or to interact with the whole street, the community, and then this kind of power will expand it. It happens in Taiwan, and of course I think it can happen here in Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you again to our guest speaker, Ms. Jasmine Chou, and our host, Mr. Tat Singh. I'm very overwhelmed. It's like building Rome, I feel. It's huge, and I think there's a bit of jealousy and inspiration above all. I don't know, what do you guys think? Inspired? Yeah? I hope, and we all hope from INSO Art and Culture Foundation, we hope we all have benefited in some little ways or big ways today. So our next Tea Philo session will also be done here, and it falls on the 23rd of June. The guest speaker will be Mr. Keng Yi Wei, also from Taiwan. He'll be sharing his experience as an art director at the Taiwan Arts Festival. This time, however, the session will be done in Mandarin. So I might not understand. Please like our Tea Philo Facebook page for updates on our upcoming programming. And there's a bit of an announcement here. We also have this cumulative attendance program. So it's like a brownie point kind of thing. You come in, you sign our attendance sheet, and you'll receive special gift. So for that purpose, please sign the attendance sheet.